Hey, how you guys do? You ready? In the mixtape.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Bienvenidos a otra emisión de El Mixtape, este programa que, bueno, se ha construido a través y a raíz de la recomendación musical y las personas que les gusta la música y enterarse de distintos proyectos. Y pues bueno, esta vez en el estudio tenemos a un proyecto, bueno, a la persona detrás de este proyecto muy particular, que aún me queda un poco la duda de cómo se pronuncia exactamente y dejaremos un poquito que él nos enseñe. Solario. Is that right?
Solario,
is that how
yeah.
it pronounces?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It means the sun and the river.
The sun and the river.
No, it sounds cool.
Yeah,
It sounds
it
cool.
does.
It doesn't really have a meaning. It's like an inside joke that went too far, but it just sounds cool, so I decided to
Okay.
use it.
Can you allow me to call you David?
Yeah, of course, man.
Okay. Okay. Él recientemente lanzó su último disco, bueno, su más reciente disco, All the Wrong Places.
Sí.
Which I'm seeing that you have your own merch.
Yeah, man,
on
I
your
got my
pants.
album merch on my pants.
They look cool.
Thank you, man.
And as well the phone case.
Yeah, man, I'm like, if I'm gonna promote something, I better promote my own
You're gonna
stuff.
do it right. I've Spotify has this function that shows you the
Merch?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
merch,
yeah.
and I saw it, and it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Can you tell us something about the
artwork?
The cover? Yeah.
The artwork was made by a friend of mine called Cassidy Howell from LA, who's also a musician, goes by the name Satire as a musician. He did all my artwork for all the singles and the album, and it was basically just, I don't know how to describe it, like we were trying to create something a little abstract, colorful, that fits the sound of the album.
Yeah, you completely achieve it.
Thank you, man, yeah.
Okay, so to start this chat, I would like to go back to where it all began for David. I know that you were born in Paris.
Mhm.
Your parents, your father was from Argentina,
See?
and your mother was Russian.
Yep.
What can you tell us about that? I mean,
It's
it's got to be, yeah.
It's very
When I read it,
confusing.
it was it's like you have the pretty much. I don't know what part from Russia your mother is,
Moscow.
but you have the three continents on
Yeah,
on your.
well,
wall.
my mom like escaped the Soviet Union, so she was like left as like a refugee like from the Soviet Union in like 1981. Met my father in Paris, they were both married to other people at the time, and then they both like divorced. Or my dad's wife got sick, and she had multiple sclerosis. It's a long story, but anyway, they met. I was born in Paris. We spoke English at home because that was the common language. What else can I say about that? It was strange for me because I don't feel like I'm French. I don't feel attached to Argentina or Russia either. So for me, they call me a third culture kid. Right? So you kind of like go around the world and you try to take little bits here and there to kind of create your own culture. Yeah.
And how was that growing? Because you born in Paris, but you changed from living to Paris from Chicago.
Yeah,
and
we
then
moved
to
around a
Berlin.
lot. So Paris, spent a long time in Paris, and my dad got a job in Chicago, so he was going back and forth, and we kind of went with him. So we spent like 3-4 months of the year in Chicago. I went to school there, and then we went back to Europe. And then he got the job in Berlin, so we moved to Berlin. We just following my dad around basically, and I stayed in Berlin for a while. I went to college in Boston. And I came back to Berlin, and now I'm going back and forth between LA and
Where
Berlin.
do you live right now? In LA?
Between Berlin and Los Angeles, pretty much.
And in which place do you like the most?
I don't like Berlin. I really don't like Berlin.
Why is that?
I've been there too long. I have too many bad experiences, too many bad memories. I don't think it's Berlin itself. It's just for me, like
Something that reminds you.
but I love being in LA. I like the people out there. Like this is one of my best friends. Holland is one of my favorite artists, who's also on my album. We just have like we have a cool a good group of people that we work with. Everybody's motivated and kind of on the same path.
The same view.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about these jobs of your father in Chicago, Berlin, and Paris, he ran the orchestras.
Yeah,
right,
he was
of
the
those
musical
places.
director. Right?
And you grown with that music.
Yeah.
But then I gotta say I didn't heard about Solarrio until I knew you were coming here, and I did my music research. And I mean, I first read the information where it says that your father ran those orchestras.
Yeah.
And I mean, even combined with your name, it sounds a little bit like that kind of music. But then I heard
You think my name sounds like classical
yeah,
music?
a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
No, I'm sure.
it kind of gets strong with the context of your father.
No, I get that.
And then I heard all the wrong places, and it has. I mean, it's not what I expected.
No, this album is me. It's like a really good representation of me and my musical tastes, and well, you know, it took a long time to get here. I was experimenting with different sounds, and this is the first time. That's why I put out this album. It's my first album because for the first time I felt very okay. I know what I'm doing. Like this is the sound I want to do. These are the type of songs I want to make. I found my voice. You know, recording technique, all of this. 'Cause before that, I was, you know, experimenting a lot. Some things worked, some things not so much. So I feel like this is like a new beginning for me. Like, yeah.
And how do you think the thing your father did
How it affects.
impacts?
I mean, I think I have a basis, and I have a foundation of, you know, music theory and music knowledge that I got from a child.
Because you got to study two instruments, right?
Yeah, I
Piano
played
and-
classical. I mean, I played piano. They sent me to piano lessons when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And obviously at 6 years old, you don't really want to play
Enjoy
piano. You want to do other
Yeah.
things. But yeah, I did that for about 5, 6 years. Then I tried playing clarinet for about a few months. I realized this is not for me. And then I was like, you know what? I want to play electric guitar. I want to play rock music. I want to play the kind of music I listen to. And then that was the end of my classical.
And what kind of music do you? There's in that other side of the camera. It's another host of the mixtape,
Hey man.
and he uses to do this question a lot, like how did your childhood sound like?
How did my childhood sound
Yeah.
like? So like a lot of classical music, like obviously, and my first cassette tape back then. I'm from the '80s. I'm a '80s baby.
Yeah, I mean it's cool.
My first tape I had was Michael Jackson's "Dangerous" and Queen "Greatest Hits." Yeah,
Oh,
that's a good foundation.
That's both of them are bangers, no?
I mean, yeah, right. And then the first CD that I bought myself with my own money was Genesis, "We Can't Dance." So, and then I became a huge Phil Collins Genesis fan. Then I guess I went to see Paul McCartney live, and I like kind of discovered the Beatles, all of that. And at the same time, there was a rapper back in the day. He was like a one-hit wonder called Skilo. He had a song called "I Wish I Was a Little Bit Taller." So that was a big song. I had his album for some reason, and Dr. Dre's "The Chronic," and those were like my first rap records. And I guess "The Chronic" left a lasting impact because I got. Then I discovered Wu-Tang, and I got really big into like hip hop, and that was like what I did as a producer for a long time.
So you kind of so you really didn't enjoy the classical music?
No, I don't have the patience for it. I think it's because I don't mind. I like the sound of classical. I just don't like sitting still and listening to something quietly for so long.
So you're rather moving the
Yeah, I want to dance. I want to like participate. So I like pop music, all kinds of like popular music genres more. But you know, obviously, I respect the craft, the right. You know, it's
And do you think your music? I mean, because having this context in all the wrong places,
yeah.
I can hear like some structure. Like it's not like just randomized sounds. It never.
No.
They never are randomized sounds.
No.
But I can listen like some structure that I could probably tell. I mean, this is like, no, I don't know, something like if you get it out from.
I mean,
classical
you know, the
music,
inspiration
something.
was more like '80s synth pop R&B music. 'Cause that's my favorite kind of music that I listen to. So I wanted to make an album or a record with the kind of music that I like to listen to myself. Honestly, I made an album for myself to be like, and if other people enjoyed it, it's great, and I'm very
That's
happy. But the most important thing was for me to make something that I can be proud of and be like, you know what, I want to make something that 10 years from now I can go back and say, yeah, I'm proud of what I did.
You
Yeah.
enjoy it. Okay, and what is the difference between that Solarrio from the EP from 2017?
Oh.
Because okay,
No,
Go
I get
ahead,
it.
I mean,
I mean, so 2017, the EP, that was my first
Yeah.
release. So actually, it's not that different because then I feel like I was already on this same kind of path. Like the style
like
was
doing your
similar.
own thing.
Yeah, but it was already very 80s influence, 80s. My formula is 80s music mixed with modern sounds, right? So I was already kind of trying to do that. The problem is after I put out this EP, everything I did after that was kind of all over the place. So I was like, oh, let me do some Afrobeat shit. Let me do some more rap. Like, so people that were trying to like follow me, like that discovered one song of mine, they were like, oh, I like this song. And then the next song I released, they were like, what is this? This is completely different. I don't. So this is why it was important for me to kind of like, no, I need to really focus and say, I want to. Solarrio is this kind of sound. And
because talking about this thing you say about being the music being so different, there's something in particular that I want to talk about. It's your music videos.
Yeah.
Because the first ones, the EP ones, they look like. I mean, the first one I started watching was Hopeless.
Oh wow!
And
yeah.
it's
like
such a. I think it's my favorite because I like those kind of stories that where you imagine everything, and it results at the end it will happen. No?
Right.
What can you tell us about those music videos? Because they are like so different, no?
So the first EP, I'm always been a big fan of Japan. I love going to Japan. I've been there many times. So
It was recorded at Japan.
That was recorded in Korea, but
Korea.
it was one trip. We went to Japan. We shot another video. We shot Treadmill in Japan, and then we went to Korea to shoot Hopeless. What happened was I was supposed to fly there with the director from Germany, who was the guy who's like my art director. And he got a slip disc, you know, like when the back from, and he 2 days before the trip, he calls me up and says, I can't make the trip. I have a slip disc. I'm so sorry. So I'm like, can I curse? Can I say fuck?
Yeah, you can.
I'm like, fuck, man. What are we gonna do? Because I have 2 days to reorganize the whole trip. So I called friends of mine in Japan. That was easy because I know some people there. So one guy's like, I can film for you. It's no problem. But Korea, I didn't know anybody. But I was flying there with one of my best friends. He was Korean, American Korean. He, through his contacts there, managed to get a very professional video team. So that's why the video looks very professional, because it was actually very professionally shot with a whole team, with the treatments, with the director, with an assistant director, with a light person. So we shot that video in Seoul, in Korea, and it was my first time there. And we were trying to make like how you have telenovela here. They have like those Korean like romance kind of shows.
They're pretty popular right now.
Yeah, so that's that was the motivation behind that, and I think it came out really well.
Yeah, because all of your videos, that's pretty interesting, and it could be really another question, but they look like they were films. I don't know. It kind of give me vibes of. Even not talking about the special effects, but the cinematography of Transformers. I don't know. I feel like in that age, like
I always want to make something. I don't want to make just a video of me like standing there and singing my song. That's boring. You know, I always want to make something. You know, give you something visual, to something that sticks. My favorite video is a video for a song called "In My Head." That was shot in Japan, and that song I don't even perform the song. It's just me walking around Japan, like very trippy effects, and so
all those videos are your ideas.
Well, it's collaborative ideas with the directors.
Because in all of those you appear, right?
Say, excuse me?
In all of those you appear.
Yeah.
You are like the main guy.
Yeah, I guess. I don't. That's true. I didn't think about it. It would be easier to just, if I don't have to be in the video, just let somebody film something.
Because then I jumped to watch the. I don't remember this video, but you dropped with this album like a whole collection of lyric videos.
Yeah, we did lyric videos. We didn't shoot any music videos for this album because we felt like, I don't know if it's where we shot a lot of short content for social media, vertical videos, and we did the lyric videos. And now we're gonna have come out with 2 or 3 music videos from the album.
But this one in particular that you do like a collage kind of thing. I find it pretty inspiring.
Thank you.
And it's pretty good. Was it your idea? Or?
No, the lyric videos were done by I hired somebody to do those for me. I found a guy on Fiverr, but he did a really good job. So he did the whole album then, because we were like, I like what he was quick and he was fast and he understood the vibe of the song, and so.
Okay, so returning a little bit to your first approach to music.
Yeah.
you already told us you kind of don't stand the classical music. This fact that standing, just waiting, like
I don't have my attention span.
You rather dance.
Yeah, but I also have a short attention span, so that's why even if I want to, I'll sit there quietly, and after 5 to 10 minutes, I'll just be like, and you know,
It's not for all times, and it's not for everyone. I don't like it that much. Too.
No, I don't. I like the music. I just don't like the way the way people listen to the music. Yeah.
So this kind of fancy treatment that this music receives.
No, but just this like, oh, now we gotta stand, we sit quietly, and we can't make a noise, and we can't say anything. Oh, it's very concentrated. And like, yeah, okay, but it's not fun. It's not fun.
Okay, so we have that, and we have that your first cassette was Dangerous by
Yes,
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
So there's got to be like a point in between those how do you say it, historical moments for Solarrio that you like you discover that I want to do that. I want to jump into this other genre. I don't know if you can you're selling it like if you were running from classical music.
No, I wasn't running from it, but I mean, maybe I guess I was. If you look at my family, they might have felt like I'm trying to run from it, but I was just like, I want to do something. I want to play music that I like. And when I was 11, I picked up an electric guitar, and that was.
And just like that, it's like you felt.
I was like, I tried clarinet, and I'm like, you know what? Like, let me do something that I want to do, and I know that my parents have no idea about this music, so they can't tell me anything. So I got a guitar teacher. I started learning how to play guitar. I started playing in some bands, and then I discovered, electronic equipment, like drum machines, synthesizers, samplers. Started making beats. And that's how I became a producer.
There's a I've seen that there's like a kind of pattern of some kind of artists that move like in some kind of rhythm, and it's like a one band in common.
Mm-hmm.
And probably you are like you obviously know them because first you are from the country, you're born in there, and two, it's almost impossible not to know them. It's Daft Punk.
Of course, man. Love Daft Punk.
Yeah.
Big influence.
And
absolutely.
there's like when talking about synthesizers, it always comes to mind like one particular song. I mean, I know there's a lot of Daft Punk, but it's this one called Giorgio Vai Moroder.
Oh yeah, the Giorgio Moroder song. Yeah.
And I want to. You've heard it.
Yeah, of course.
You know the song. It basically
it's a tribute,
rounds about the history of
Giorgio.
how Giorgio discovered not discovered but started like this synth kind of wave. Can you tell us the Solarrio version of Giorgio Vai Moroder?
Of like a song that I have that's like that?
No. The like the history part of the song that started like when I was 16, 15.
Well, like I said, I started. I think my professional career started probably at the age of 18 or 19. I was at a rap group in Berlin. We were starting to we did some concerts. We were trying to figure out how to put out some music, and we were. Who happened? So I was in a club one night in Berlin, and I got a call from a friend who said he was in another club with Steven Seagal, Ja Rule and Corrupt, or these big rap artists.
Yeah.
And Steven Seagal was a movie star. And they said they were out in Berlin shooting a movie for a month and a half, and they got the phone number, and they need a studio to record, and they need weed. So I guess we helped them out with both of those. And then we basically hung out for a month and a half. I brought my artists over there. They made music together. And after that, we kind of we felt like, okay, this is the confirmation that we needed to know that what we're doing is right. And we started putting out music. We started like our own little indie label. And I did that for about 4 or 5 years. And then we split up. It was a lot of personal problems, differences. And then I spent the next 10 years as a producer, just working with different artists. Until I decided in 2016 or 15, I was like, I'm tired of this German rap shit. So I want to make the kind of music I like, and so I started Solarrio.
That was in Loud Records, isn't it?
No, Loud Records. That was a magazine, an online magazine that was sponsored by Loud Records. It was called Elevated Minds, and that was when was that? I was like 14, 15. I was the European correspondent, so I did a lot of interviews a lot of like underground rap artists, and whoever came to Berlin on the tour, I had a press pass so I could go see the concerts and meet them, do interviews. So that was pretty cool. But that's like Loud Records wasn't like, other than the fact that they financed it, they were not involved in the process. Yeah.
Okay. In talking about this weed guy you were.
Statutes of limitations. We can talk about it. It's been over 20 years.
I think it's like a, I don't know, it's like a pretty interesting a theme in music.
Weed?
Not weed specifically. The way, yeah, I mean, the main one, weed, that makes the people like the composers. I mean, it's not the secret that there's a lot of bands that are pointed by because of consuming that kind of stuff. And I mean, I don't know if I may ask this, but you've got to compare creating music with and without it.
Oh man, it's impossible to create without it when you're used to it. Now I'll give you an example of how it affects. Like, so this was in 2003, I think. We were in Chicago with the artist I work with. We got a studio booked for a week, and we had some live musicians that came, session musicians. We had a drummer and a bass player and a guitar player, and they came. We had like one day with them. They came in, and it was everybody was cordial, everybody was nice, but everybody was kind of like pulled back, and we started trying to make music, and it was just like, it was cool, but it wasn't really happening. And I sent the engineer, I'm like, go get me some weed, bro. So the guy came with the bag of weed, dropped that, and everybody was like, hey, okay. So then we smoked some, and everybody was feeling happy and started jamming, and then all of a sudden I think it's just kind of, it makes people loosen up and not care so much about, like, so it's definitely a big part in my creative process, man.
So in your studio, we have all your technical equipment, and you gotta have your bag of.
Yeah, always on point. No, but my equipment is not. I don't have that much equipment because I move around a lot, so I don't have many like hardware synthesizers. I have everything in my laptop, so I just try to. So I'm mobile, But yeah, man.
Okay, so returning this Daft Punk theme, what's your favorite album of?
Discovery. No, Discovery's the second one, right?
Yeah,
Discovery. That's like a classic, perfect electronic album.
Before that recording, we were kind of telling which one will it be.
Yeah, what do you? I mean, because I like the first album, the Homework, but it's rough, and Discovery is just like I think they perfected the style. And then everything that came after that, the one after that was the Human After All. I think with the robot voices, it was too robotic for me. And the album that you mentioned, the one with George on it, it's too soft for me.
It's too soft.
I miss the boom.
Yeah,
because I understand they made the very musical album. They wanted to make analog, but I'm like, but now add the boom to make it, because it's still you make house music. You don't.
I don't know. There's I think it's Alive. Alive is an album of.
Alive, yeah.
So you don't really like
I like it.
Random Access, because
I like it.
In my opinion, Random Access Memories is like,
it's a great album.
Yeah,
I like
amazing.
it. It's just it's not the kind of album I like to listen to as much as Discovery, for instance.
And do you listen to music when you are making music?
Yeah, I have like I have a playlist with like inspiration, but it's all like Prince, Michael Jackson, and things like that.
And Michael Jackson, what is your favorite thing about Michael Jackson?
My favorite album?
Yeah,
Thriller.
Music. Yeah, Thriller.
Thriller or Off the Wall.
It's hard to tell. I mean, those three were launched like it started all with Off the Wall, right?
Yeah.
Then it was
Thriller
and then Bad.
Yeah.
No, but you can't leave Dangerous out of the.
I don't like Dangerous.
You don't.
Now when I listen to it, I'm like, this is terrible.
Why?
I hate because I don't like the sound of it. I don't like the production. I think some of the songs are very corny, and I feel like his peak was bad. I feel like Thriller's a masterpiece. Thriller's, if not the best album ever created, it's like the top 3 best albums of all time. And Bad was the first album that was made for stadiums. Like when it was recorded, like we need to make this sound big because we're gonna be playing stadiums. So it was innovative. But Dangerous is like, I think it's because he stopped working with Quincy Jones. And Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones made magic, and Michael Jackson and Teddy Riley and whoever else he was working on Dangerous, it was not the same. But there's some great songs on Dangerous, but it's just not as great as the stuff before, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Thriller is
Man, Thriller
it's
is
the album.
the album, bro, for real. It still sounds amazing. You listen to it now, it's like it's timeless. It's like it doesn't sound old at all. It sounds still very.
The only thing I don't know if it's like some cultural thing here in Mexico, and I think in all the world probably, or at least in this part of the continent, that the Thriller song is like you got to listen to it like a lot in Halloween month, and it's like I can't hear Thriller no more without
thinking of Halloween and the video.
Yeah. And it's sad because it's amazing. I mean, it's a pretty good video.
I mean, the song is about that.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
I don't know, this kind of vibe that they forced, because I think it's forced. Like
maybe I think you're right, but I think it's because when they made the video, they were showing the movie like in movie theaters or something. It was a big deal. So it was a big cultural moment. So I think it just kind of because of that, it just took over.
Okay, yeah. So you seem to you even called all the wrong places as a probably as a 80s theme album,
Yes.
right? So you are like a 80s lost guy, because
Absolutely, I love 80s music. Bro.
there's it's not like very actual. I think the 80s is for so many reasons. It's like the cultural boom of everything. It started to, I mean, before that we have like it wasn't that colorful,
right.
and
It brought
80s
color,
were,
synthetic
explosion.
neon colors,
everything, yeah.
cocaine.
And I think weed.
No, but like the 80s was definitely very cocaine decade. Like, you see all that stuff. But it's just I think they found the formula for pop music.
You were born in the 80s?
I was born in the 80s. I'm a little older, but
so you grown with that.
well, it was I was too young to listen, but it was on TV, it was on the radio. It was the music of that was around me. But I only really got into the music itself later in my life when I rediscovered all of this, and I'm like, man, this is actually really good. Because when I was a teenager, I hated 80s music. I was like, no, punk rock, hip hop, fuck all this other shit. So later on, I'm like, nah, man, this is actually really good. Because also, 80s always come back every 10 years. You have like an 80 revival in pop music. So you see now, like The Weeknd,
Yeah,
people
The
like
Weeknd
that totally are
yeah.
completely 80s inspired. So I'd say 80s. I think to me they perfected the formula for pop music.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And we can talk about the 80s without talking about, I mean, music. Obviously, it's when you think about that decade, you think about music. But there's another thing that it would be interesting to know, that it's movies.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of
great
cool movies from that era.
Yeah,
and I want to know if you have like a
favorite.
Yeah. From that age, I mean, if you want to mention like one recent one, we can talk about it. But
from that era,
yeah, because we're talking about the 80s.
Man, there's a lot, and it's like so long ago. Like I'm trying to I rewatched Beverly Hills Cop, the first one recently, because the new one came out. So I'm like, man, Beverly Hills Cop movies were really good, and the soundtrack was really good. I wish I could put a song. I wish I could have gotten one of my songs on the new movie. Trying to think, man. What is yours?
I'm like a pretty. I like to call myself this like a geek, but of certain movies, and I like. I mean, Jurassic Park is like 80s, 90s. But
probably.
I mean, Jurassic Park, Jaws,
Wow,
Star Wars.
Spielberg.
Yeah, all the
Spielberg movies. Star Wars. That's like in the 70s.
Yeah, but the best Star Wars movie, The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah, that stuff. Back in the Future.
Back to the Future, man. Also great movie franchise.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about.
It's like it's right now. I can't think of anything else, but it's like everything you mentioned is like yeah, that too, bro. So it's definitely a lot of great stuff. But as far as like more recent movies, my favorite movie is Drive.
Drive. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, I've just yesterday I saw like a a fan made poster.
About
I didn't say it, but it was pretty cool.
No, that's like I don't know, some of that movie, like the soundtrack. The Ryan Gosling is one of the greatest actors of our generation. You know, like people don't realize how good this guy is. Like if you see some of the old movies he made, he was playing some really crazy characters.
And right now he's playing some good characters.
Yes, but for a while he was just doing like, you know, but now like I think people realize like, wow, like so Drive definitely a big inspiration stylistically and also sound wise, I think, for me.
So your music is pretty based on 80s, your
Yeah.
music. But do you think the visualizers, even your recent cover and all the stuff you want to do next, will it be like?
I think there will always be a element of that, but I don't want to make 80s music. I want to make
No, it's not 80s.
exactly.
It's
So
like,
if I was going to make, I want to make very vintage sound. I would make everything VHS
And
look,
sounds.
and I would have a very weird haircut and wear weird clothes. So I didn't want to do that. I still want, you know, it's still modern, but there's definitely the influence because the way I write my songs is very influenced by that. But you know, I don't know what the future holds. I have a project coming out next year with a producer from LA called Teo Fetty. It's very 80s synthwave, vaporwave kind of thing. So, but my next project, my next album is gonna be. How'd you describe my next album? Is it like still like as 80s as this, or is it more like a little more street and a little more?
So you've heard
it's
it?
More, yeah, it's like Justin Timberlake if you went to the hood.
There you go.
I was just talking
It's
about
like gangster Justin Timberlake.
For sure.
I was thinking of a way to describe kind of Solarrio, and I came like this idea of it's like if you put Justin Timberlake with I don't know Cool and the Gang,
Yeah,
it's like
Cool and the Gang.
that's the mix that
I'll take that.
came to mind.
I'll take that. I'm not mad at that at all.
Because I mean Cool and the Gang, it's like I don't know, it always puts you in a good mood.
Yeah.
The first note that you hear from any song of Cool and the Gang is like, oh, you start like.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good party, feel good music. for
But you
sure.
have this pop like stuff like very pretty like, and that's like the mix I found.
Yeah, I also try to make this album fun. I didn't want to make too many like depressing, sad songs. I wanted to make it upbeat. I wanted to make it fun. Some of the songs are sad if you read the lyrics but the beats are always more like trying to make you dance or make you feel good, right? So that's what I try. I think about the kind of energy I want to put into the world, and I don't want to put negative energy into the world. There's enough negative energy there, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. So, okay, next one, breaking a lot into what we've been talking about. I want to know, what does Solarrio means to you?
it's basically me being able to express myself in my art in an artistic way. Finally, after decades of doing work with other people, and finally me being able to do a project where I am the face of the project and not just a producer in the background.
And do you enjoy more?
I like
being your
both.
face?
I like doing both. I think I wouldn't be able to choose one or the other. I like being able to do both. You know, when I produce for other people, that's obviously I'm more in my producer role. When I'm producing for myself, I like to collaborate with other people, also co-writers, just because I don't want it to be just me by myself in my little bubble. You know, but that's it.
How do you choose who to collaborate with?
It's usually people that are in my inner circle that I've worked with before that I understand we have a good what do you call it, good rapport. Those are all the people I collaborated with on this record. I did previously. I tried to reach out to somebody outside of my circle to do like a feature with somebody famous, whatever. It's a Nigerian singer called Niniola. And that whole experience was an interesting experience, but I realized very quick that I'd rather work with people that I actually have a personal relationship with, because say I put out a song with someone, you know, we want to promote the song, they're gonna come and help me promote it. Whereas the other people might be on some superstar thing, like, no, I don't. You gotta pay me to promote it. I'm like,
What do you think about this? I mean, we're kind of passing through it, but this new like wave of music, of collaborations in music, like we got to these big names in the industry collaborating with
well, I'm used to this because I worked in the hip hop space for so long, and in the hip hop
I think
space
that's the era
people have
where
been
it came from,
collaborating
yeah.
forever, so it's nothing new to me. But I think it's cool as long as it's not. I don't like, we were talking about yesterday, we don't like albums by people where there's like 11 songs and 10 of them have features on them. So it's like, it's still, if it's a solo album, there should be more solo songs than feature songs. But I get it, nowadays you want to cross market, you want to reach other fans, you know, and with the streaming, basically you want to make a song with a collaboration with someone so they can also, so it can be on their profile so their fans listen to your music and vice versa. So it's a lot of that is business. It's not even, people are not making these songs because they like to make music with people. It's a business decision.
It's just it's more a business. That's
absolutely.
Okay. And what is your dream collab? You can in this question you can consider also that they're live.
Dead or alive?
They live
Prince.
or they dead?
Prince.
You would like to do
Prince is the greatest artist of my all time to me, you know, for sure.
Okay, that's interesting. Eh? Ah, yeah, and alive.
Alive. Charlie Wilson. Do you know Charlie Wilson?
No, I don't know.
Charlie Wilson, legendary funk singer he had a band called the Gap Band in the 70s and 80s, and he's still he does a lot of songs with Snoop, and but he has like incredible. His voice is just legendary, and we went to a concert of his in January in Los Angeles, and it was amazing. Like he's old, but he's still so good, man. Like it was the greatest concert I've ever been to.
Okay, and right now that you mentioned that when you entered the studio, we were listening to
the Bull.
Yeah, the Bull.
The Bull.
And you said you played that.
Yeah, I had a DJ set.
DJ
I had a
set.
DJ gig last night, and I played that song, the one that you were playing. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
How do you? I mean, I know there are pretty different stuff, but what can you tell us about the difference between being in the studio and DJ setting?
I'm not really a DJ, so I don't DJ that often. I'm definitely more a studio person. I mean, the DJing is fun because you can kind of like, you know, you get a reaction right away when you play a song, or you get people react to it or whatever. But it's hard to be a real DJ. Is hard work. Most people that DJ they're not really DJs.
But you like to do it.
I think I will.
But because
I will
of
do
the
more
work
of it.
doing it, or because of the reaction? Because I know the reaction like causes a lot inside of you, and that
Maybe I like to perform more than to DJ. I like to sing, just to perform my songs. I'd rather do that than DJ. But I'd like to DJ. I think I will do more of that in the future because I think it's also an opportunity to kind of play music that I like that doesn't necessarily get played in clubs anymore. Like, man, I was busting out the classics yesterday where the people were like, some people in there were really into it. So. Yeah.
You DJ set here in Mexico?
Yeah, it was I forgot what the location was called. It was like an opening of an art exposition or something, and that's going on for the next couple of weeks. But that was like the opening night yesterday.
How many times have you been here?
It's my first time in Mexico City.
Time. And how is it treating you?
I like it, man. We've just been running around doing promo since we got here. And now we have a couple of days to kind of go and explore. But I love Mexican culture. I love Mexican food. You know.
Because there's like a thing. I don't like to talk that much about it, but it's the combined thing of music and statistics.
Mm-hmm.
I know usually you don't make music for
statistics, yeah, but it's nowadays you have to.
But in this age, you got to see a lot of that. And I've seen yours in Spotify.
You see, Mexico's always
I don't know why.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Mexico is
I don't know. And I appreciate them. Thank you, Mexico. I love y'all for like giving me a chance. But like from the beginning, when we started releasing songs from this album, Mexico was always in the top countries, and Mexico City always in the top cities. So we're like, okay, maybe we should just try to concentrate our promotional effort
on those places.
Yeah, so that's why we're here.
And are you planning on a date here?
I'd love to. Like, I don't know. We were trying to see if maybe we could pull something off now. This trip, probably not. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm hoping to come back in the next 2-3 months and play some shows. Maybe do a little tour or something, you know. Definitely.
Okay, that's cool to know. So you tell us that you have a Justin Timberlake in the Hood album coming up next.
He said that. No, I feel like the next album is a continuation of what I'm doing now. It's just a little rougher because also the themes are different because the first album was going more for like relationships things and being in love and falling out of love. And the second album is more toxic. It's more about like toxic relationships and how people love toxic stuff.
And do you already have a name?
Right now I have a name, but I don't think I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's too early. Man. It's too early.
Probably a hint.
I don't know if I honestly don't. It's just a working title. I don't think I'm gonna use it so I don't want to say anything yet. But it's gonna hopefully come out next year. I have another EP coming out end of this year with 4 new songs. That's kind of like a companion to this album. And then next year we start a new era, like new look, new everything.
Okay, so that's nice. Like,
yeah, next time I'll be here with blonde hair and.
Continue doing that stuff because I found it amazing.
Thank you, man.
I'm even a little bit jealous of your pants.
Hey, man,
I want one.
Yeah, I can get you a pair if you want, bro. Just let me know your size.
And okay, just a little bit to be closing. There's the podcast. It runs about the musical recommendation.
Yeah.
And I want to know, you gotta have a lot of stuff. I mean,
to recommend?
Yeah.
Not really, man, because I don't listen to much. We're so focused on what we're working on that we don't really get to listen to that much other music from other people. The last album I really heard from this year was Charlie XCX, Brat, which is doing really well, and I'm happy for her because I've been a fan of hers for a long time. She's been a big inspiration, and she's finally getting the mainstream attention she deserves. Other than that, Anderson .Paak's album with Knowledge, yes, Wylord, that was great. I like because it sounds like old music, so it sounds give me that 1970s soul vibes.
Put them on to our people, Jews.
Oh yeah, bro. Shout out, my bad, bro. So all the folks I work with, Holland is from Compton, Juice from Xavier Top Floor, Satire, my boys Ant Dog, Teo Fetty. That's the crew. That's the people we're working with.
That's the one in the.
They're all in LA. They're all in LA. Yeah.
No, but they were the ones at the collaborations at.
No, Holland's on NLF.
Yeah.
Lenka Shockley's, and she's a singer from LA. She did most of the background vocals on my album, and she's featured on Out of Time, the song.
That's a great song.
That's my favorite. It's one of my favorites.
I gotta say, I don't know if you've seen this. There's one person I don't know if you're familiar with the Vince McMahon, the WWE owner. There's like a meme in the things in some specific promo that he did for a show that he's like just seated in a chair.
I don't think I saw
and there's a woman undressing in front of him. And he started like making like faces and.
Ever seen that?
I would like to show you.
Yeah, we're gonna check him out.
At the end, I can show you. And he ends up like pulling off. He falls out of the chair like so. The way he's so impressed, and that's like this album made me feel like that.
Really,
like,
man?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Thank you so
started,
much.
and it was like,
Man.
And I think that the second track is Out of Time, right? Or she goes.
She goes. Yes, that's the one. That's like.
No, it's that one. Like he started like,
oh my god, yeah.
And then he,
No, I'm very appreciative of you guys because I noticed like you and everybody that I've talked to here, they really listen to the album and like it's not just like we're doing an interview like and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen because it took a lot of effort and nowadays so much music out there, it's difficult to.
It's a lot.
Yeah, so really appreciate.
Yeah, sometimes this position of host kind of demands you to know a lot of music, and it's almost impossible because every day there's like so many good artists dropping.
Yeah.
And it's as I'm telling you, I'm just discovering your music and.
Hopefully you stick around, man.
Yeah.
I got more shit on the way, man.
I'll be looking after you. So. I have like this kind of dynamic, if you want to call it, that you are the one closing the
show.
Yeah, the chapter. So whatever you can imagine as colorful and 80s style it could be, it would be better. Not at all. I mean,
you just want me to say something like to
close the show? Yeah. Like
so it's mixtape.
Yeah, it's the mixtape. Yeah.
So what camera do I look into? This one right here. All right. What's up, y'all? This is Solarrio. We here at the Mixtape Show. in Mexico City. Thanks for having me out here. Check out my album, All the Wrong Places, out now on all platforms. Follow me at Solarrio with 2 R's, Solarrio on all platforms. And stay tuned for way more music, and check out my boy. Come here, bro. Get you in the car. Check out my boy Hollanders. We got that song NLF video dropping very soon. On your head top. Boom.
You heard him.
T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, how you guys do? You ready? In the mixtape.